You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Dave Delaney hosts a great podcast called The Nice Podcast. Dave, tell us what these fine folks will get out of listening.
Thanks for asking. The Nice Podcast is all about helping leaders improve the way they communicate with their team members, with their prospects, with their colleagues, everybody. So that's what it's all about.
Amazing. Where can people subscribe?
The places that you subscribe to podcasts normally. But you can also find the show at marketingpodcast.net, of course. And you can also visit nicepodcast.co.
You heard him, folks. Go subscribe.
Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. So the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am, as always, your host, Seth. Today, I have Natalie Guzman on the show. She's a virtual assistant, but she owns a virtual assistant agency. She is the head of a marketing networking conglomerate, I guess you'll call it, called Nadora. I hope I said that correctly. She's very prolific on TikTok. I was watching your TikTok prior to this show, and it was very enjoyable, very TikTok-y. And she's based down in Florida. And it all started, the entrepreneurial journey, in 2015 when her jackass bosses said that she had 2 days to give birth. Pause on that for a second there. And had to go back to work. So she said, F you, pretty much. She said, like, that's ridiculous. Like, I kind of understand that. And she took control of her situation, started her own virtual assistant business, which let her work from home, earn money, and do it the way she wanted to. Damn straight. Love that. Her business grew quickly. Within 3 months, it was making over 6 figures. Whoa! Hot shot. I love that. That's great. Mine was a little slower when I started my business. And then she didn't stop there. She expanded her entrepreneurial endeavors and now owns Nadora, a software company that helps businesses easily create websites, emails, automations without having to spend hundreds of bucks on multiple systems and platforms. So that's really cool. She manages and balances her life and successful career with her personal life. She has a family down in Southwest Florida, hopefully avoiding all these hurricanes. And she travels the world, hopefully, avoiding these hurricanes, giving speaking engagements on what she does. So, Natalie, how's it going?
Oh, man, I'm laughing back here because we do not avoid the hurricanes. We move every 2 years in Florida, and I just happen to be in every path of the hurricane for the last 3 hurricanes starting with the letter I.
Myers?
Yeah, so
no!
Yeah, so we got hit by Irma. I was living in Sebring, and so that was a hurricane category 5 right through my backyard. Yeah, and I had a 1-week-old and a 1-year-old Seth at that time. So
wow, you're that was punishment. Yeah,
right.
It doesn't get a lot of hurricanes, so you kind of moved into Hurricane Central, and then in Hurricane Central, picked the Hurricane Central in Hurricane Central.
Yeah, and then we moved every 2 years. So then we were in Arcadia, which was like Punta Gorda when Ian hit. So my office was completely destroyed. Our town was surrounded by 17 feet of water. We were an island in this little town.
Kind of tragic, but neat because it's kind of like when I were on an island for a few days.
Yeah, they had boats and people delivering food and things like that. Yeah, it was
And
crazy.
Why are you still in Florida?
Yeah, this is where we moved more north, like central north. We're not going to
It would follow you.
Yeah, I go with my husband. So my husband's job moves us around every 2 years. So we don't choose it. Our job chooses it for us. So, yeah, it stinks, but we went to like Central Florida. We're like, we're not going to get hit. We're nowhere near water. And then this newest hurricane came along, but luckily we didn't get hit too bad, but we were in the path.
Down. What was the one, Cecily?
It started with that I.
Oh yeah. Who knows?
It was like Adalia. Hurricane Adalia.
Oh yeah. An exotic hurricane hit you. So, go figure. Oh yeah. So I guess you're used to it by now. You're saying like, all right, hurricane's coming. We got to do X, Y, and Z. Kids
Yeah,
are like,
just buy a
Mommy,
few
it's
extra
raining.
chocolate
You're like,
bars.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What's that?
Buy a few extra chocolate bars and you're good to go.
Yeah, I guess if you're used to it. I mean, you never get really used to hurricanes, like, but I'm in Philly and we get hurricanes every now and then, and we're like, it's an event.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like Florida where it's like, all right, you get in line, you queue up. It's kind of orderly because you're just used to it. Philly, it's like all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
I mean, during the pandemic, this is everywhere, but everyone went after toilet paper. Go figure.
They do that during hurricanes. Water, toilet paper, and bread.
I can understand. You need to wipe your butt. So
yeah,
I get it. We went there, everybody. We went there. So anyhow, let's talk about your journey. So before the show, we were talking about how this a-holy company gave you 2 days to give birth. Was this your first kid?
This was my first kid, and we were high risk. We had lost multiple children before this one. And so
and then their jackass is enough to say you 2 days. Oh, screw you.
And they were mad I waited till I was in the safe zone as well. Because, I had lost multiple. So I didn't tell everyone this time around until I was in the safe zone. My doctor said it was okay to tell people. And then I told the job and they're like, well, you should have told us earlier. You have 2 days to give birth. And then you have to go back to work.
Huh. Well, but karma's a bitch, or karma's a wonderful thing because they're now bankrupt. Serves them right.
They went bankrupt.
Karma, love it. So then you went out on your own and started. So what made you do virtual assistant thing?
Yeah, so I always say that my whole life started with a Google search because I just Google searched jobs I can work from home, right? As a new mom and a baby, like it really put me in perspective. Like I knew that this was a very high risk pregnancy, that my daughter might be born with a lot of health complications and things like that. So I was like, man, I was trying to rearrange my life with 2 weeks off. Now I quit the job. I want to be at home with this child, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, now you can make your own decisions, damn it. Yeah.
Exactly. That was my biggest thing. I want to be in control of how I make money. I don't want anyone else to be able to put my family in risk like that. And she was born only at 2 pounds, Seth. So she was
my kid was a 4-pounder. So I know 2-pounder. Wow. How's she now?
And then she is amazing. We have a little bit of complications with her health. But besides that, she's
2 pounds. I mean, come on. Not everything's developed, so they have to develop later. So it's like,
yeah, we got really lucky compared to most
4-pounder. My kid was 6 weeks early. I mean, yours was clearly much earlier. And
well, I also had a condition, so they stopped growing at 30 weeks, and so even if she was born, I think 8 weeks early, and even then, if she was only at like 30 weeks, yeah.
Oh my goodness! But she's like strong. I mean, but watch, she's probably strong as an ox with minus a few
She's
health
a flyer. She's that little girl on the top of the pyramid.
And so, is she really tall now?
No, she's tiny, so that makes her a flyer. So the girls at the top of the pyramid in cheerleading that get thrown and tossed everywhere, that's my daughter. 7 years old.
That's terrifying. I mean, like, do you know how much it went? You put me through to get you here, and they've been tossed around. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you liked my TikTok, Seth? I have a TikTok on it. You'll enjoy that one.
I'll have to check that one out. But my goodness, my kid was 6 weeks early. 4 pounds, 9 ounces. Of course, they drop weight, they always drop weight when they come out. Surgery at 2 weeks, 2 days, because he had bowel obstruction.
Yeah.
I mean, it's CHOP. Children's Hospital of Philadelphia is amazing. I mean, he's like, for those who are watching the video, he was like this big, and they managed to reconnect his intestine. He's now almost 11. Tallish, not too tall. Like his mom's short, so go figure. He's not gonna be the tallest it is. But strong, stubborn, hard-headed, really smart, but hard-headed. I mean, I feel like these preemies. I mean, is your daughter really a hardhead? Like, oh my God, where did you get the stubbornness from?
Yeah, she is super independent. I call her my sassy Latina because she's half Puerto Rican, and that's
exactly describes in trouble before you even had her.
Yeah. Oh
no! So she's a preemie and a Puerto Rican. Nothing is Puerto Rican, but they're sassy. I have friends that have. I'm getting myself in trouble right now. But my friend has 3 daughters, and they're all sassy.
Yeah,
they all got the Latina sass, and it's like, one's like an executive at a marketing agency, running everything, and she's like 23. It's like, oh my God, strong will. So anyhow, back to you, off our kids, which just kind of happens. But so you started the virtual assistant for businesses, for entrepreneurs, and for executives.
Yeah.
And then so you said within 3 months you were like killing it. We're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Sean Swaim hosts a great podcast called SEO Last Week. Sean, tell us what these fine folks will get when they listen.
Anybody who listens to SEO Last Week will get all the updates of what's going on in the world of SEO in about 15-20 minutes or so. So that way you can stay up to date with what's going on Google without having to dig through 60 different blogs to do so.
That is super useful. Where can people subscribe?
Hey, we try to keep things simple. You can subscribe at Marketing Podcasts with that second S.net, or you could just search for SEO Last Week wherever you get your podcasts from.
You heard him, folks. Go subscribe.
Yeah, so I started out just working by myself. So I was just kind of helping, a lot of my clients here and there. And it started out kind of slow, like most businesses. But then I was like, I really started understanding it. So I started doing this for a year. So a VA by myself. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn this into an agency. I want employees. I want tons of clients. I want to turn this into a 6-figure business. And so I started my agency and we hit 6 figures in 3 months. I got 7, and these were all new clients. These weren't my clients I was working before. So I got 7 clients in a week. Most of them were like 20 to 40 hours a week. And so I had to hire. I had never been a manager.
You needed to be an agency. You needed to be an agency. That's what happened with Cold See Me. I was doing it all myself. And I'm like, if I want to grow this damn thing, I gotta get more people. We're all contractors with each other, but like still it's like they mostly work with me because it's like I'm throwing them the most business.
Yeah.
That's insane. So you did that, you're doing that for a while. And then what is Nodora?
Yeah, so Nodora is really cool. So not only is it basically an all-in-one software where you can create everything for the back end of your business, your automations, your calendars, your websites, your funnels, everything kind of in one place, which is super cool. But we also have a really great networking community, and we have educational courses, and we have a membership directory as well. So it's really built to be that one-stop shop for businesses.
And that started in January of this year. Yes. This is 2023. For those who are listening way late, which I think most people hear this in 2023. But and how's it going so far?
It is amazing. So we went in the green within 1 month. So that was pretty exciting. So I actually have only been in the red maybe 2 months with all my businesses. So that's something I really pride myself on.
Oh my God. I mean, and that's for like, for those who don't know, like being in the red is kind of a badge of courage because you are. I mean, you put things on credit cards, you bootstrap stuff. You're gonna be in the red for a while, and then when you're in the black or the green or whatever, you're not as reliant on the credit cards as much, which is really a great feeling, and so that's awesome. So, in your opinion, since you did the jackassy business beforehand, and now you're on your own, what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur? I think we kind of highlighted that, but
I think the best part, so another thing on my family side is my husband is in law enforcement. So he works insane hours. He gets called in last minute. When those hurricanes, I was alone with all these babies during these hurricanes because my husband has to be at work.
So he has to be out in the field,
Yeah, well, he actually works. So we're on the prison side of law enforcement. So he works. Okay. He's an assistant warden of a prison. But sometimes if that warden's not around, he's acting warden. So he'll be in charge of a whole prison by himself. And that was really hard because and we're moving every 2 years. So how am I going to have a job that I can excuse moving around all the time? And so that's one of my best things about entrepreneurship is I can take my kids to all their sports. I can take off for doctor's appointments. I can, do my husband's errands when he needs them done and work them into my schedule. And I've learned not to work in my business, work on my business, because when I was working with clients, I would get overwhelmed. You know, my schedule is no longer my own. Now that I have the staff to do it for me, I can now, you know, I have more control of my schedule, and it's amazing.
Isn't that great? So what keeps you up at night though, besides your kids?
Oh, supply and demand 24/7. I think it's something that never goes away. You can never completely solve it. And so it's always, I'm either needing more clients or I need more employees. I kind of have a really good system where I don't worry about it as much, but it still keeps me up at night.
So are they all full-timers? Are they part-timers, or how's it work?
I have a mix. So my core team are W-2 employees and they are full-time. And then I have about like 60 contractors so that I can kind of call on at any time. You know, it's been around since 2015. So I like to say I'm a dinosaur in VA years, because most virtual assistants didn't start until the pandemic. So
yeah, exactly. So you're an OG.
I'm an OG.
There you go. That's awesome. So what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time besides your phone? I mean, I know you need your phone because it's like running your whole business.
Oh, it is. Okay, but my phone charger, does that count?
You need your phone charger because you're always on the phone, but absolutely. When you're running a virtual assistantship business, assistantship, I don't know why I'm coming up with these words today, but anyhow, when you're doing that and you're running your other business, you constantly have to be on. So
yeah, and water. I think water is another thing. Just make sure I'm taking care of myself. Yeah, water is amazing. And like if you put a Celsius packet in there, you're all set to go. It's amazing.
Off the races, exactly.
Yeah.
But what about internal? Like what do you carry with you internally?
What do you mean by internally?
Like metaphysically.
Okay. Do you mean like how I feel in the business?
Yeah, okay.
I get a rush. I think I'm always on a rush. I'm always thinking of the next thing and the newest technology and the newest software. So like business for me, I'm not addicted to really anything, but probably business I am addicted to, because they always say everyone's addicted to something. Mine's probably books and business. And so for me, it's like a rush. Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I love my business. I love doing it. I completely agree. Sometimes it's a little much. I have to peel myself away and say like, look, I need to take a break, you know?
Yeah.
At least you're able to do your business while your kids are at soccer or cheerleading, being thrown. Probably have to be working on your business so you don't freak out.
Yeah, so luckily I've been trying to be more present around my kids, so they notice when I'm on my phone. So I try not to work while they're doing those things. Yeah, my son yesterday was like, "Mom, I'm very upset," and I was like, "Why? You had a really good practice." And he goes, "You didn't wave to me." I was helping other kids at baseball. So I was like, you know what? Next time I'm going to sit on the bleachers. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to wave. I'm going to scream. And you'll get sick of me.
Aw, how old's your kid?
He's 6.
Aw. Yeah. And there's 7-year-olds being thrown from pyramids.
Yep. And he's hitting fastballs. Yeah.
We got sports kids here.
Yeah, they're very athletic. My son especially. My daughter really wasn't as much, but she fell in love with cheerleading. It's
still just as terrifying for the parent. Yeah. It's like, because she's so small, you think like, okay, she'll be safe. No, she's being thrown off of human pyramids.
Yeah, and you have to, and other 7-year-olds are the one that are catching her and supporting her and being her spots. And so you have to put your trust in all those 7-year-olds to keep your daughter safe. Yeah, that's a terrifying part.
Oh my God. All right, so Natalie, where is your major watering hole online? Where do you hang out the most?
Oh, probably TikTok. You were watching my TikToks. It's very TikTok-y, as you said. I love it because I not only talk about business, but I'm always talking about my life. And I feel like that's one side of entrepreneurship, is that we need to make sure we're talking about our life and not just the business side. So it's Natalie Guzman on TikTok.
Yeah, but it's Natalie Guzman. It's Natalie Guzman. Double words there. But we'll have all the links in the show notes, and then you're on LinkedIn a little bit and Instagram. Check out ngvirtualassistant.com, Nadora, NADORA.org.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And thank you so much for being on. It's been so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I had a blast.
And we'll see everyone next time. That was a great show. If you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please review us in the podcast directory of your choice. Every review helps other podcast listeners find our show. If you're looking for other podcasts in the marketing space, look no further than the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? May King Sang and Amanda Webb host a high-energy, super fun podcast called The Extra Shot. Amanda, May King, tell listeners what you cover on the show.
We talk about the hottest new topic in digital marketing or social media and how it's going to affect your business and how you can utilize it to get more sales.
We also discuss the Internet Winner of the Week, the Internet Loser of the Week. And if you share your thoughts and opinions with us, then you'll get to plug your business on the show.
And where can people subscribe?
You can find the show at marketingpodcasts.net. I'm saying because that's marketing podcast with an S on the end, .net.
Or search for The Extra Shot wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard them. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.